Aidah clutched her boarding pass tightly, her heartbeat echoing in her ears. For years, she had imagined this moment, flying to London, the city of her dreams. But what if she had known that this journey would not only fulfill her dreams, but also test her courage in ways she'd never imagined? This is Aidah's story, a story of adventure, mystery, and the kind of thrilling moments that change a person forever. The plane's engines roared as Aidah gazed out of the window, the sun casting a golden glow over the clouds. London wasn't just another city for her. It was a promise of discovery, a world she had only seen in movies and books. Her first steps in Heathrow Airport felt surreal. The buzz of travelers, the crisp British accents, and the sight of the Union Jack flags hanging overhead filled her with excitement. She grinned at the customs officer, who returned her enthusiasm with a polite nod. But as she stepped out into the cool London air, she felt something else, a strange mix of excitement and anticipation, like the beginning of a story she couldn't yet understand. Aidah's first day was magical. She wandered through the historic streets of Westminster, her camera clicking at every sight. The majestic Big Ben towered above her, its clock face gleaming in the afternoon sun. Later, she strolled along the River Thames, marveling at the London Eye's giant wheel spinning slowly. Street performers entertained crowds near the South Bank, and the smell of roasted chestnuts filled the air. But even in the midst of this beauty, Aidah couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching her. She dismissed it as paranoia. After all, she was in a new city, surrounded by strangers. What could go wrong? As they turned to evening, Aidah decided to take a walk through Covent Garden. The lively market bustled with activity, lights twinkling like stars above. Musicians played violins, their melodies enchanting. She felt a tap on her shoulder and turned abruptly. A tall man with piercing eyes and a dark coat stood behind her. "Excuse me," he said, his voice calm. "I think you dropped this." In his hand was a small notebook. Aidah frowned. It wasn't hers. "Sorry, that's not mine," she replied. The man's lips curled into a faint smile. "Ah, my mistake." He disappeared into the crowd before she could say anything else. Shrugging it off, Aidah continued exploring. But when she checked her reflection in a shop window, her heart sank. The man was following her again, keeping his distance, but his presence was unmistakable. By now, Aidah's heart raced with every step. She darted into a nearby bookstore, pretending to browse. Peering through the window, she saw the man standing across the street, watching. Her hands trembled as she texted her Airbnb host, Sarah, for advice. "Stay where there are lots of people," Sarah replied. "And if you feel unsafe, call the police." But as the train started moving, she saw him enter the same carriage, his eyes locking with hers for a brief moment before he sat down at the far end. At the next station, Aidah jumped out just as the doors were closing, weaving through the throng of commuters. She hid behind a column, her breath shallow, waiting to see if he had followed. Minutes passed. When she was certain he hadn't, she finally relaxed. But her relief was short-lived. On her way back to the Airbnb, she noticed something strange in her bag, a piece of paper that hadn't been there before. It read, "We need to talk. Meet me at St. Paul's Cathedral at noon tomorrow. I mean no harm." Aidah's mind raced. Who was this man, and how had he slipped the note into her bag? The next morning, Aidah shared the note with Sarah. "This is bizarre," Sarah said, her brow furrowed. "You should ignore it. Stay safe and stick to your plans." But curiosity gnawed at Aidah. Against Sarah's advice, she found herself standing in front of St. Paul's Cathedral at noon. The man appeared, as expected, but this time, his demeanor was differentless, threatening, almost nervous. "I'm sorry for scaring you," he began. "But I didn't know how else to approach you. My name is Alex. I work with an organization that tracks stolen artifacts. And we believe you might have seen something valuable during your visit to the Tower of London." Aidah blinked. "Me? I was just a tourist." "You were at the jewel house," Alex continued. We suspect someone there may have slipped an artifact into a tourist's belongings to smuggle it out unnoticed. We need your help to track it down. Aidah was skeptical but intrigued. She agreed to help Alex, and together they retraced her steps at the Tower of London. Alex's organization had flagged a specific Eitman ornate brooch believed to be from the Tudor era. As they pieced together clues, Aidah felt a thrill unlike any she had experienced before. This wasn't just sightseeing anymore. It was a real-life adventure. By the end of her trip, Aidah had not only explored London's landmarks, but also played a role in solving a historical mystery. Sitting on her flight home, she replayed the events in her mind. London had given her more than she ever imagined, not just beautiful memories, but a story that was hers alone, one that she couldn't wait to share. And as for Alex and the artifact, that's a tale for another day.